Welcome to Transport Vlog. My name is Paul and I'm in Shirley Street Reserve in Carlingford, and behind me is the Carlingford Stop. So this is going to be a Parramatta Light Rail update video. It's the 21st of August 2022 as I record this. I'm going to start in Carlingford and hopefully finish in Parramatta, but wherever I finish you'll be able to know where it is because it'll be in the title.
Here is a map of the whole line, and in this video I'm going to cover Carlingford to Tramway Avenue and also the maintenance and stabling facility in Camellia. All the footage in this video was taken on the 21st of August, unless I mention otherwise. So let's start at Carlingford, which will be the northern terminus for the Parramatta Light Rail. The main change is the installation of canopies on both platforms. The platform canopies are made of steel and are about 23 metres long. All stops on the Parramatta Light Rail will have the same type of canopy, although the length will vary, with longer canopies at busier stops or ones that will be used for major events. Here is an artist impression of how this stop will look with these canopies and other platform facilities. All the speed limit signs are now in place, along with black RTS signs, which stand for requests to stop. I think this is a warning for a potential conflict ahead, in this case the short single track section, which goes under the Pendant Hills Road. It's then back to double track. These signs show a 35 km/h speed limit over the turnout, followed by 60 km/h for the double track section that follows. About 500 metres north of the Telopea Stop is a new access path that crosses the tracks and links with the active transport path on the other side. Here is its location on the map, and a few metres further south some groundwork is happening. This is for one of 7 new traction substations that will be built along the line.
I'm now at the Telopea Stop, sitting on a new bench,
which is one of 2 new additions to this stop, with the other being this filtered water refill station, and I believe there will be one of these at each stop. The platforms haven't really changed in the last few months. There are various holes for the canopy support, including some with cables coming out of them. Here is a 70 speed limit sign for the line south of this stop, and to the left of the tracks is the active transport path for walkers, runners and cyclists. This section under the Addiston Road Bridge is on a concrete track slab. The Telopea Stop is shortly after the gentle bend to the right. This is the new bridge over Leamington Road that also has access to the active transport path. And this is the new bridge over Kissing Point Road. I covered these and the other new bridges in an earlier Parramatta Light Rail update video, which is appearing on the top right now.
So I'm now at the Dundas Stop and something new has appeared behind me.
And here it is. This building will become the backup operational control centre. If an incident were to affect the main operation control centre, and I'll reveal where that is later in this video, then this backup facility can take over. Vertical supports for the future canopies are now visible on the south side of the original Dundas Heritage Station building. Here is a closer view of them. Further supports are also visible on the north side of this building as well. And that's because Dundas will have 2 canopies on the southbound platform, one either side of the Heritage Station building. Although Dundas doesn't have a real train service right now, it does have a toy one, complete with a timetable.
So I'm now at the Rydalmere Stop, except it's not called that anymore, it's now called Yallamundi.
And it's one of several stops that have been given new names. And like Carlingford, it also has 2 newly installed canopies. Each canopy is supported by 4 steel columns, and the bit in the middle will be filled in to house various electrical and communication systems and cables, and will have a ticket machine built into it as well. Here are some views of the canopy roof. They look like mini versions of the new canopies being installed on platforms 12 to 14 at Central Station. Interestingly, there are additional steel columns on either side of the canopies, and you might be wondering what they will be used for. In this artist impression image, which is actually for the Telopea Stop, you can see these extra columns, with some showing the name of the stop or the L sign for light rail. You can also see this covered section here, which as I mentioned earlier will house electrical and comms equipment and have a ticket machine built into it on the platform side. For the Yallamundi Stop, this will be here on the southbound canopy and perhaps here on the northbound one. Now I mentioned earlier that the canopies at most stops will be about 23 metres long. The CAF trams will be 45 metres long and will have 7 articulated modules, as opposed to 5 on the CAF trams that normally run on the L1. So the canopies will cover about half the length of a tram. At the Yallamundi Stop, the active transport path switches from the east side of the tracks to the west side.
In my last Parramatta update video, I asked a question right at the end, which is, what is the crucial component that is still missing? And I got a lot of different answers in the comments, including trams. The answer I was actually looking for was signals. Now, I've been keeping a lookout for signals as I've been walking down the line from Carlingford, but I haven't seen any as yet. And also what I thought were overhead wires look more like pieces of string.
So the wires keeping the cantilevers horizontal seem to be proper cables with insulation, but as far as I can tell, the actual overhead wires are currently pieces of string. And before you tell me to get knotted, I think this gives the game away. These pieces of string secure the cantilever arms until the overhead wires are installed. The signs are up on the active transport path, but here is one that will need to be updated. The line then crosses the Parramatta River via the existing railway bridge and then goes over this new bridge. After the new bridge, which is now here, the track changes from ballast and sleepers to tram-like rails embedded within concrete in preparation for the street running sections. This is also where the tram will switch from segregated running, where it operates more like a train with faster speeds and grade separated road crossings, to street running. On this map, the segregated section from Carlingford that you've seen so far is coloured blue. This next street running section to Tramway Avenue is indicated in red, but as you'll discover later, most of it is not on streets.
So I'm now at the Camellia stop, but this stop is also being renamed to Rosehill Gardens.
Which makes sense, as the main entrance to the Rosehill Gardens racecourse is fairly close by on Grand Avenue. It's not quite as convenient as the old Rosehill station was, but it's still within a 5-minute walk. And this unopened new path that I accidentally walked along last time also connects this stop to the racecourse. And with a new town centre being built within the Camellia suburb, this could allow one of these two future stops to get the Camellia name. The Rosehill Gardens stop is just north of this triangular junction. That will allow trams to head west towards Tramway Avenue and Parramatta, or east towards the maintenance facility in Camellia. Here is a view of this triangular junction. The tracks going to the right for the maintenance and stabling facility will also become part of the future extension to Sydney Olympic Park. The platforms here are at a similar stage to the Telopea Stop and have not changed much in the last 5 months. From here looking east, you can see how the trams will turn left to access the Rosehill Gardens stop and the line to Carlingford. Just here on Grand Avenue North, there is a new connection to the active transport path, which then links to the Rosehill Gardens stop. All the overhead wire structures are in place, but no overhead wires as yet. This is the line to the Camellia maintenance and stabling facility, which is where I'm heading to now.
I'm now outside the construction site for the maintenance and stabling facility, and this has changed quite a lot since my last update. Let's take a look.
Trams will cross Grand Avenue to access the maintenance facility, and the traffic signals to control this have now gone in. The most obvious feature is this tiny structure sitting on top of this concrete support. This will be the maintenance building. Now the camera does lie, as it's not really sitting on this concrete support, it's over here on the right. Now zooming in to see how it really looks. This is taken from Grand Avenue. These next few bits of footage are all taken from Cahoon Street. The maintenance building will be 3 stories high, and it will also be the main operations control centre. Can you remember where the backup one will be? Back in June, it was very much a metal frame only. And here is a closer view. Back to now, and it looks like something is being constructed in front of this building. This is how the south end looks from Cahoon Street. Now back on Grand Avenue, and I spotted some track in this area and some sleepers over here. Looking closer in, you can see some rails and then some precast concrete sleepers complete with the track fastenings. And further along, some more track and further sleepers. Parramatta Light Rail posted this photo on their Facebook page. This is looking north with Grand Avenue at the back, so the opposite direction to my footage. At the moment, there is track in place for 5 sidings, which are already connected to these mini concrete sleepers. I reckon the area between the tracks will be filled in with concrete. Besides the maintenance building and sidings, there will also be a substation here, and another substation close to the Rosehill Gardens stop. And then further north, the substation at Telopea that I covered earlier, and then another one at Carlingford. The James Roos Drive Bridge now has an official name, which is the Bidgee Bidgee Bridge. It's named after local Aboriginal leader Bidgee Bidgee. The local community suggested around 500 names for this bridge, and this was the one that was chosen. Track laying has been completed on the bridge. I'll show you that in a moment, and overhead wire structures have appeared, including this one in the middle. And further overhead wire structures are now in place on the concrete sections. You can also see some possible overhead wires, although they may be pieces of string. Keep watching to find out. It's now possible to get really close to the concrete sections of this bridge on either side. On the west side there are 4 pairs of supporting columns that are technically known as piers. One of these is behind me. This part of the bridge consists of a number of precast concrete beams. At this end there is a new path that when opened will go to Tramway Avenue. The gap between these supporting piers offers some rather unique views. The bridge deck and arches are made of corten, also known as weathering steel. The surface develops a self-protecting rust layer when exposed to the elements, which resists corrosion and does not require painting or weatherproofing. On the east side there are just 2 pairs of supporting piers, and these are much lower.
I am under the new Bidgee Bidgee Bridge. I can actually touch the supports on either side and it's not tall enough for me. Well, yeah, that's my head.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that again. Anyway, that's enough of the underside. Let's take a look at what is now on top. This is on the east side with the triangular junction behind me. Notice the pole on the right on its side. This might be for overhead wires or for lighting. I believe these additional strips serve a similar purpose to check or guard rails and probably assist with drainage as well. Back in March it was looking like this. And by early June all the track and overhead wire structures were in place. Track laying has also been completed on the west side of the Bidgee Bidgee Bridge, and overhead wire structures have been added as well. Again, you can see these additional strips that I believe will act as check or guard rails. If you know more about these, do share this in the comments below. Here is a closer view. And this is the active transport path that will also go over this bridge. This looks finished as well. And from here I can confirm that further pieces of string are keeping the cantilever arms in position until the overhead wires are installed. This is how it looked in February. The tracks had just started being laid on the bridge. This was in June when the track laying had been completed, along with poles for overhead wires, but without the cantilever arms as yet. Arthur Street used to continue north, but this road has been split into 2 by the tracks and embankment. So these new steps allow pedestrians to access both sides of Arthur Street via a crossing over the tracks, and further steps on the other side. These steps also link nicely with the new path that you saw from the west side of the Bidgee Bidgee Bridge. Tramway Avenue has a road on the left to serve these residential properties. It's one way running from east to west. There is also a road on the right to serve these industrial buildings, and this is also one way east to west as well. Jumping back 4 years to 2018, and it looks like no buildings on this road were harmed in the making of the Parramatta Light Rail. Back in February 2022, the only section that didn't have track was from the end of the Bidgee Bidgee Bridge to the approach to the Tramway Avenue stop. Here is some more footage to remind you of how it looked back then. Now all complete, so quite a transformation in just 3 to 4 months, as you can see from this bit of footage that was taken in June.
So I'm now at the Tramway Avenue stop and the grass is not always greener on the other side.
In fact, it's looking quite brown, with a bold patch appearing here. Tramway Avenue is the only stop that has a green track section within it, so that makes it a little special. And it literally begins at the same place as the platforms start. Here is the location of this stop on the map, which is very close to the Parramatta River. The platforms are in place along with the holes and connections for the future canopies. Now looking east towards the Bidgee Bidgee Bridge. Back in February it looked very different. This was from the western side. The platforms are here and here. And the track laying work was happening between the platforms. This is from the eastern end, with track resting above the base concrete slab and the platforms coming into view now. These boards are where the green track section starts.
This is the last pole for the overhead wires until the other side of the Parramatta CBD. So for the next section, trams will be taking power from their onboard batteries.
At the western end of this stop is a speed limit sign, with another sign below it to remind tram drivers to lower the pantograph for the battery operated section that follows. And a similar sign on the eastern side to remind drivers to raise the pantograph. I'm going to finish this video by showing you this short green track section that runs along a small part of Tramway Avenue before turning left into Alfred Street. This is the start of the curve into Alfred Street, including another view of the last 2 overhead wire poles. These 2 masked lapwings are enjoying the new green track and have found a new place to go when thirsty. A friend of mine calls them nerdy birds, as they do look a little nerdy. This looks like a water hose, and it will use recycled water. To the left of the green track is a footpath and then a single lane leading to George Street. And on the right are 2 traffic lanes for Alfred Street, one for each direction. And here are the first traffic signals for trams. This is for the junction with George Street and Alfred Street, and this is where the trams will turn right into George Street. This is also where the green track section ends. This is now looking back towards Tramway Avenue.
So I'm going to finish this video here at the end of this green section just beyond the Tramway Avenue stop. So part 2 will be from here to the Prince Alfred Square stop, so basically the wire-free section through Parramatta, and then part 3 will be the last bit from there to Westmead. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do give it a like, give it a thumbs up, do leave a comment or question below, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and also click the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I release part 2 and part 3 of this Parramatta Light Rail video series. Also do consider supporting me on Patreon as well. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.